like this. If it's your first time, you might feel emboldened. You might feel a little bit liberated. You might feel like you could just go into work and say, no, not me. You may feel like that. You should feel like that. But if there are tangible things that you really want to do, speak up. Be the person that cracks the silence in your staff meeting or in your place of work. I promise you won't be alone. You might be the first to say it, but you certainly won't be the last. Certainly if you work with people over the age of 30, you won't be the last. Be the teacher in the staff room that says no. You might not want to say that you know that they're men, but you might say that you're not telling kids, you're not gaslighting children. And actually I think it's your duty at this point to say no. I think if you're in the NHS and you know that men are men and women are women, I think it's your duty now to say the truth. I think being silent is not an option. Being silent is complicity. I think if you work in a space where there are vulnerable people, whether they're male, female, children, whoever they are, I think the time to be silent is over. I think if you feel brave enough and bold enough and you've got 4 meetings a year to spare, join your local council, be a councillor. That's how these covert paedophiles and predatory men have got away with this for so long. They occupy our spaces. They sit in a room and the conversation changes. Even if that room is full of women who know that they're perverts, they can no longer say it because there's one of them sat in the room who will report you. We have teachers in the staff room who have designed the guidance that gets them in the women's toilets and changing room and gets boys in with girls. We've got those teachers still teaching, celebrated. They gaslight children every day, forcing them to call them myths. We've got men who are head nurses on psychiatric wards, female-only wards. What was the first thing he did? What's his name? I think his name was Dave. Let's just stick to Dave. Dave, who dresses up in PVC nurses' fetish wear on his nights out, he became the head nurse on a women's acute psychiatric ward. That means women who've gone through trauma and have extreme psychosis. The first thing he did with his job is he moved his office down to where those women sleep. And when he was on, during COVID, he was on a Zoom call with 3 other women who also ran similar wards. He told them that and they praised him. Not one of them thought, hang on a minute, Dave. You moved yourself onto a ward where women who have been victims of extreme male violence sleep. Oh, no. They were like, oh, that's so great. He didn't even speak like a nurse. He had a proper blokey, like, man's voice. I like put my bloody bed on the ward. It's just, like, it's comical until you understand that in that ward, and we all know somebody, way back, she had acute psychosis. She thought she was going to be murdered by men, including her own husband and son. When she went onto the hospital ward and had a man next to her who she knew to be a man, so did all the women on that ward. When she complained about it, she was recorded in her notes as a transphobic bigot by nurses on that ward. Years later, she called me and she said, you know the man they just arrested with 80,000 images of child rape? That was the man on my ward.
Yeah.
So, we know this. We know that if a man has a paraphilia of dressing as a woman, the most likely cross paraphilia is paedophilia.
Yes.
We know that these men have multiple paraphilias. They don't ever stop at one. If you feel afraid and you feel uncomfortable when a man dressed as a woman is in front of you, you're damn right. And you listen to it. You don't explain it away. He must have had a hard life. It must be so difficult for him to not have to dress as a woman and walk about as a woman, but choose to. There is nothing hard about it. The compulsion is a fetish. There is nothing else going on there. Trust your instincts every single time. If you can stand next to somebody, you know pretty much everything else you will disagree, then I promise we will win. If you can brave freezing cold in London and even more cold in Glasgow, and you can stand and you can speak loudly even if your voice shakes, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because I never